Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of the Red Bull Project with me, Ringo8781 Gaming. We are within the next season. We are the 1st of August 2025. We have already played a couple of games. I just genuinely got carried away. There's been a lot of turnover since the last time. You saw where we were. We were in a bit of turmoil financially. We were in a bit of turmoil with the playing squad. There wasn't an awful lot going right at the club, but you can just see from the right hand side here that the finances, the salaries, it's gone really well. We're now £18 million in the black, which is brilliant. And this is mainly due to transfers in and out. I believe we did take out another loan. Yeah, you see, there's £40 million worth of net debt over three bank loans. I believe the first one or the latest one. Oh no, maybe I'm telling a lie. But you can see there's a lot of bank loan debt. Projection wise, we are projected to make a loss. That's if we do stay within the confines of the Zweiliga, and we will still be making a loss. Our expenditure is going to go up as well, which is a bit of an issue. It's projected by the end of the 27-28 season it'll be down, meaning that we're making a bit more of a profit. But it's hard to see how it's going to go, and because there's a lot of stuff that has happened, and we're going to go straight into it with our transfer history. At the back end of last season, we let a few players go. Tony Janska was one of them. He ended up going, ironically, to New York Red Bulls. And then I believe has just been sent straight to Basel. Am I reading that correctly? Uh, How strange. Anyway, Tony Janska was one that went out. He was one on big wages, and it just become a bit of an issue. Was that a lot of players were on a lot of high wages, and there was a few like older players who were not making the grade and whatnot. So we made the decision to get them out of the club, and then going into this season, there's been a lot of turnover. You can see we spent a total of 2.6 million. We're having to be very shrewd with our money. We have, however, made the club at 10.25 million, averaging about 7.4 million pounds worth of profit at the end of the day, which is brilliant. Brilliant stuff. You can see then we sold a few people. A lot of people went on a free. Anthony Young was one of the guys on big wages. He went out on a free, 35 years of age. Leonardo Bittencourt, who was on 25 grand a week, I believe he was on at us. He went on a free over to Galatasaray. Not a bad player, but I mean, not brilliant. Philip Sammer, another one who went out on a free. He's a young centre back. He just wouldn't sign a contract, so he ended up going. Paul Wolf, a young player again, looks like he could be okay, but he wasn't worth an awful lot, and you can see they offered £300,000 for him. It's just a bit of extra money in the bank, so I said yes to that. I've got no issue. One of the bigger ones was Tim Kleindienst. He was the top goal scorer for us last year, scoring 15 goals. Didn't score a single goal the entire time since I started at the club. Although not a bad player, was on high wages again. You can see he's at Hanover, who were in the same division as us, on 30 grand a week. So he went, as did Stefan Teagues, between them making about £7.5, £8 million for the club, which is brilliant. Again, not a brilliant player and on very high wages, so he had to go. Luca Schlacks is a decent little player. He didn't want to be there anymore, so that's fine. I'm not going to stand in your way. Fabian Buntic, we spoke about him in the last episode. A decent goalkeeper, but the fact he was on high wages and wanted to be our number one when Oliver Christensen, who you'll see here, is very, very clearly our number one goalkeeper. It made sense to let him go. So we did. He went out the door. We also got rid of Marlon Ritter for 275k, not really offering anything at the time. Torsten Schweid, we did basically get rid of a lot of young players. Nils Sufert, a good holding midfielder, but not a great holding midfielder. He went. Oliver Gross, another young player, 215k to Hoffenheim. couple of loan deals there, and then finally Klaus Kruger going to Sassuolo for a deal worth up to £44,000. And then this is where it gets this is the bread and butter. This is what we want to see. If we have a little look here, you see I didn't bring anybody in this season. It was all from this season onwards, and we've 2.6 million outlay, 800k of it being for one player. I think is brilliant value for money. And some of the players we brought in as well, I'm very, very happy with that. We'll start with the fees then. We'll go for the loan deals. The first signing we made, Juan Larios coming in from RB Salzburg. He is going to play as the backup left back. He was originally going to be the starting left back. He's very, very quick. He's got very good mental attributes, and his technical attributes for a wing back are pretty much what you want. Knocks the ball past the opponent well, which is very good considering his pace and his determination and whatnot. A very good player in his own right, but he ended up becoming the second choice because Luke Thomas from Leicester become available. I couldn't say no. Very, very, very competent player, very good player. Played a lot of football in the Premier League, so he ended up coming in. So it's a bit of a rotation between Luke Thomas and Juan Larios. We did bring in a striker. We brought in Bartosz Bialak on loan from Wolfsburg. Has played quite well. He's 6'3". He's not quite a target man. He's a bit more mobile than that. You see, he moves into channels. He cuts inside from the wings, and he likes to try first-time shots. He's a bit more mobile than your average target man. Not quite as quick as I probably like, but very good off the ball, very good finishing, decent enough, teamwork, work rate. He's come in and he's playing up front with the absolute boy who I will bring wherever I go. Luca Reichel has come in on a season-long loan from Burnley. You see, we are paying him £15,000 a week, which you think is a lot less than what we were paying Tim Kleindienst because he was on 25 grand a week, and it's a bit chalk and cheese between the two. Hasn't actually hit the ground running yet. I'm a bit. He had a great season at Sunderland. In 32 games, he scored 15 goals, which is brilliant. After the season he had with us at SV Reed, scoring 9 in 17. I think it's just going to take him a little while to get back used to the physicality of the German game. It's maybe not as intense as the Championship is, which is where Sunderland were when he was there. But yeah, runs the ball through the centre, plays short, simple passes, which are two new traits that were added to him while he's been away. Shoots with power is one that we give him. He's making the positions. He's passing a lot of the ball. He's winning a lot of tackles. He's created 2 clear-cut chances. He's just not put anything in the back of the net yet. But I think that will come in time, hopefully in the next couple of games. Next up then, a few free transfers we're going to go through. I'm pretty sure you've all spotted this guy in the middle here. But the first one who's come in is a guy called Pino Desiderio. He came in from Melbourne Victory on a free transfer. He's a 21-year-old Australian international. He is 5'7", but is naturally a centre-back. I think he's a brilliant centre-back for being 5'7", but obviously his jumping reach isn't great. So we are training him to actually play as a wing-back, and I'm going to show you why. If you look at his attributes for wing-back support, we need him to be wing-back, not right-back. Wing-back support. He's very quick. He's got very, very good mental attributes to play there. His work rate's very good. His positioning's very good. Concentration and decision's great. Anticipation is really good for a fullback. Quite aggressive too. And it's only really his technique, his passing and his crossing that led him down to play wing-back. So if we whip that onto crossing and we put him on double intensity, I think we've got ourselves a very, very good wing back in the making. I want to get these up first, and then we'll probably work on his physical attributes afterwards. But I think he's more than capable of playing there. You can see he made a clear-cut chance too. A 6.90 average rating, only coming off the bench in the one game so far this season, and that is mainly because our number one right wing back is Ethan Laird, who came in on a free transfer from Manchester United. He's on very high wages, 24.5k a week. I wanted to try and keep the key players around 20k and less, but he drove a hard bargain, and I thought value for money wise, he is only 23. He's still got room to improve. If he has a very, very good season with us, you can see his values are already 7.4 to 9.8 million pounds. At the end of the day, I'd like to keep him. I'd love him to be here if we get into the Bundesliga. But at the end of the day, we could probably make a hefty mint on this guy, and we're a club that needs the money at the minute. So yeah, that was the idea in that. Runs with the ball down the right, gets forward if possible. He hugs the line and he runs with the ball often. Done very well. Lots of clear cut chances created. Decent enough average rating. It was a no-brainer bringing him in. And then the next one is a bit of a strange one. Is this guy called Bashiru Muhammad. He came in on a free from Valencia's academy. He's a Ghanaian youth international. I believe he's also Portuguese. Let me just triple check. No, I'm lying. He's not. Anyway, he 6'2", very physical, a lot of 14s. If they were 15s, you'd be looking at him thinking, actually, that's very, very good. You then look at his mental stats. His composure and anticipation are brilliant. Decisions need a bit of work, but that's because he's not played a lot of football. He's only really been playing for Valencia's B team, their academy team. Cartagena is the only professional outfit he's played for. Good determination, brilliant flair, off the ball is great, his work rate's good at passing, really, okay technique, not the best. Really, really, really good finishing, dribbling and first touch, and a lot of traits. He runs the ball down the right, he places his shots, he lobs the keeper, he knocks the ball past his opponent, and he tries first-time shots. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a very... we wanted to break the offside trap, actually. Beat the offside trap. Go away, Jens Keller. I know more than you. So he's come in. He actually scored a goal in the first game of the season. He came off the bench to grab us a goal. I believe it was against... Yeah, so the San Pauli game was a cup game, and then he came on against AUG. And yeah, he bagged himself a goal. He was only on the pitch since the 55th minute. Brilliant little player, and he looks competent enough. He looks like he's possibly going to develop a little bit more than what it says there. I mean, they're saying he's got a star and a half's worth of growth, and he's got very, very good attributes as it is. So he's our player. The idea of bringing him in was that he's going to play in rotation with Bialek and Reichel, but he is our player. Whereas they're lone players, we don't really want to develop them. I think, again, represents very, very good value for money, and looks like he's going to develop into a decent enough striker. So yeah, we'll just need to play him a little bit more and obviously rotate these two. I think the main two are probably Reichel and Muhammad, but we have been playing Reichel and Bialek at the minute, but that will probably change. Next up then, you'll see, we did a David Moyes. We did a bit of a scouting mission over in the Czech Republic, and we brought in two players from Victoria Pleasant for a combined total of 110,000 and one from Hradec for 50,000. So we've spent about 160,000 on three Czech Republic youth internationals. One guy went straight out on loan to Versberg Kickers, and it was Pavel Krunert, a decent player, very technical, good passing, good technique, good dribbling, good first touch. He's playing in the third tier in Germany for Versberg Kickers, and looks like he's playing okay. He's about average. He's not really doing that much yet. Wasn't ready for our first team, but I thought, let's get him out, get him a full season under his belt, and then probably start looking to play him by the time he's like 19, 20, 21 maybe. We don't really play with an attacking midfielder as well, so we just want to see how he develops out on loan. Doesn't need personality training, doesn't need determination training, so that's fine. I'm happy loading him out. Again, good value for money. He's a youth international. We paid just over £49,000 for him. I think he's a brilliant signing, so he's coming to the club and was loaned out straight away. Next up was this guy, was Derek Papelka. He is naturally a wide target man, which I've not seen an awful lot of, and I was contemplating the idea of playing that. However, if you have a look at his attributes as a forward, pressing forward, whether that be target man, advance forward, a deep line forward, you can see what I'm saying. He is brilliant at pretty much everything. So again, it was a decision to bring him in. He is our player. Hopefully within the future, if we cannot keep Luka Reichel about, we've got Bashiru Muhammad and Derek Papelka. And why is he number one? Why is he number one? Anyway, you think the coach summary, the coach is basically saying he is good enough to be in our first team. It's from Dennis Carl, who was our assistant manager. If we have a little look at him, he's good at judging a player's current ability. He's very good at it at 16. He reckons he has got about another, what, 2.5 stars worth of growth? A star and a half's worth of growth? Um, yeah, we just need to get him working. We have got him as training as an advanced forward. We just really need to. I think if his quickness was better, he'd be absolutely ridiculous. Let's try and train that now and see how he gets on for the season. And we'll do double intensity because he's young. Yeah, very good leadership, good off the ball, brilliant work rate, really good stamina, strength, jump and reach, really brave, good finishing. Yeah, he again. I'm a bit concerned he's number one. But it is what it is. So yeah, 55k. He's going to play a bit of a rotation from this season. And again, brilliant value for money. Another one was Andrei Shimshek, again from Victoria Pelzen, another Czech player. They're saying he's naturally a right back. He's definitely a centre back. He's got a bit of a temperament issue, but we were mentor training him actually. Let me see if that's still going. Yeah, so he's getting mentor training. Let's change it up. He's getting his mentoring in. They reckon it might only be an average impact from the group, but if it changes his personality from temperamental to even just balanced, that's enough for me. A very good young player. Not the best technically, but physically and mentally, it makes up for it. You'll see he started one game for us, and he finished on an average rating of 7.10. So brilliant. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He will learn a lot. He will improve. He's worth a little bit of money too. He's happy being an impact sub. He's only 18 years of age. Again, we're thinking long term as well as short term. And next up, then, a good little sign in this one. He was playing for Preußen Munster. It's Nikolai Ramberg. Preußen Munster were in the second tier last season. Are they still there? Are they still in our tier? Or did they get relegated? They got relegated, so we brought him in. If we have a little look at his history, last season he performed quite well with 3 goals and 8 assists and a 7.06 average rating in a team that went down. But we also kept an eye on his previous assists and goals. And there's something of a player in him here. So we brought him in for £145,000. We are playing him as our attacking central midfielder. He's quite tall at 6'1". He runs the ball down the right, which is a bit strange. Moves into the channels, gets forward whenever possible, and he can cut inside from the left wing, can play a few positions, could even actually play up front. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a brilliant player. He scored a very, very good goal. He reminds me of like a Steven Gerrard type player, because he could, if he was better at tackling, I'd say he's definitely a Steven Gerrard type player. But I, yeah, he's a very competent player. I've got him training as a box to box just because again it trains a bit of everything. He keeps performing well in training. He's got a good personality. He's got good determination. Really good flair. Really good off the ball. He's just a perfect little player. Good vision as well. Again, as I say, he scored as well in his debut game. So he's a good player that's come in and supplements our midfield well because he breaks the lines. So we've got the wing backs going forward. You'll see the formation we're playing. You're very used to it. But he breaks the lines. We've got the wing backs providing the width. We've got him breaking the line to make it a 3 going forward. Could even be a 4 going forward when he plays next to Vasilidis because Vasilidis likes pushing forward. It is all ticking. It's all working very well. It's going to take a little while for them all to completely click together, but I think a lot of these players we brought in are basically the core of the club and they're sellable assets. It's something that's been brought up a lot in conversation recently on the Twitter feed that I'm on and whatnot, purely because of, obviously, as you know, I'm an Everton fan, and we've basically mucked up having money. We don't even have any sellable assets. We've really only got Calvert-Lewin, Pickford and Richarlison. And this is the idea. We've not got a lot of money. We need to bring these players in when they're young. We need to bring them in when they're cheap. We need to develop them and have sellable assets. And the likes of Desiree Diardo, Ethan Laird, Papelka, Krunet, Shimshek are all sellable assets. So it makes sense. Next in then, we brought in a backup goalkeeper. He classes as an important player, but he's not really. He's pretty much a rotation option. It's Andrew Fisher from Norwich, 27 years of age, competent sweeper goalkeeper. Happy with him. 475k, which is a little bit over 400k compared. We got 1 point, 1.4 million for Buntic. They're completely different players. So yeah, he came in. He suits the system a little bit more. And then Jamie Lawrence followed us back. We obviously played him a lot at SV Reed. We got him on loan from Bayern too. We brought him with us. We want him back in our team. We want to develop him. He's very, very, very good. He just needs a bit more fine tuning, and then I think he's pretty much the go to, the starter. And there's not much more I need to say about him. You knew how good he was for us at SV Reed. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's come in. Next up, then and last, a very good signing. I'm very happy with this guy. It's Fausto Vira, who's coming from Aston Villa for £1 million. He's a deep lying playmaker. He sits in that hole and he just sprays passes. A real quarterback. I just want to give him a few traits because he's not got any at the minute. He's not the most physical, but he's very, I think, with the low center of gravity, and he's got a bit of aggression about him. Really good bravery, good composure, good anticipation, really good balance, decent strength for his size as well. Really good in the air as well, actually. And good at long shots. He's just like the perfect hold midfielder. He's like the Argentine Pirlo. What we want to do, he's got 13 pass and 14 vision. We want him, technique wise, what do we want him to do? Don't want any of that. Yeah, I think dictate the tempo is the best thing. We just want him on the ball. We just want him taking over. But a very competent player, 25 years of age. He was signed for 3.9 million by Villa and didn't kick a ball for them. But he looks like he developed quite a bit in that time training under a Premier League outfit. And, we've managed to bring him in for a very measly fee of £1 million. Okay, that one too. That's a little feature. I didn't know they did that. Is it only on certain players? Oh yeah, look at that. Go back up one to Yannick Dem. Player progression observations. I didn't know that happened. Has that been in the game a while, or am I just being silly? Oh, they want us to loan Dudok. Go on then, Dudok. He's a very good player, by the way, Joshua Dudok. Look at his attributes and his physicals and mentals. He's played a couple of bit part games last season. But yeah, anyway, I'm going through this now. I'm actually quite intrigued. See if there's anybody else. How much are you on? See you later, mate. 6K and you're out of contract. You're gone. See you later. Um, wow. Sorry, I've I've lost my train of thought there. That's something I've not noticed before, but that is quite good. All these transfers in, okay, there we go. All these transfers in mean that we've changed the formation, which means a few players are going to start missing out. One of them is probably being Johan Mina, the Ecuadorian international. He doesn't really fit into the plans, despite in the last video I was saying he's probably one of the most um, key players we wanted to try and bring in, but he's not really developed. Didn't do much for us last season, so he's more of a squad player now. But we have gone to our tried and trusted five at the back formation. As we said, we've got Lawrence, Simsek, Naroki. We've got Fisher in goal, swapping with Christensen. We've got the wing backs. We've got Klunter, who can play right wing back. We've got Ethan Laird, who can play right wing back. We have got Pino Desidero, who can play right wing back. I'm starting to use Klunter more as a wide centre back purely because he can cross the ball if need be. He's quite tall. He's good in the air. He's very, very fast. He again is a good little option to have. And when you're in these positions, you need these players who can play a couple of different roles, a couple of different positions, and that's fine. Finn Becker's losing out a little bit purely because Ramberg's come in and performed quite well. It's a learning curve. We're still trying to keep it quite high intensity. We play out of defence, we hit early crosses and play with a higher tempo. We do want to counter and counter press, and then we play with the high line. We press a bit more. We prevent the goalkeeper getting stuck from playing it short. And yeah, we build from there and we go from there. So it's a very good starting block that we've got. It's very. I just saved another £6 grand a week. Madness. Yeah, it's a very good group of players. It's a very technical group of players. We've got a lot of money in the club now. If we go on the scouting and we look at the player search, we've now upped the recruiting package to be in the world. So in theory, we look at the players who have been analysed. In theory, there should be a more wealthier pool of players rather than just the ones who have been scouted from from Central Europe. As you can see straight away there, you've got Dimitro's a Brazilian, under 18. You've got Igor Jesus who's playing in the Arabian Gulf League, who actually looks fairly okay. He looks decent. Yeah, that's the idea behind it. We've got a couple of free transfers there as well, young 23-year-old. This is the idea behind it. We've got people scouting, getting picked up in the MLS, and he actually looked brilliant. Again, 26-year-old, another Ecuadorian, and we're in a good situation. That's the best way to describe it. Just showing really quickly, as somebody mentioned it last time about how I identify players other than just using the data analysts. The assignments are set as follows. Chief Scout is looking for a hot prospect purely because he's not the best, but 14, as it goes, 14 is not bad. Hot prospect, again, it has desired effects, being the ages at most 24 and a scouting potential are good. When I'm looking for a regular starter or a squad player, I tend to set it up this way. We want them to be age at most 25 and the current ability good. Every now and again, we look for a younger player as well, and we try and drop it down, maybe to between 15 and 21, and the scouted current ability is good. So the guy, Joe Monks, who's a very good scout on this game, all these players that he's looking at are players who can play in our first team, and you look at the average age, it's probably around 17, 18, and not a lot of transfer fee for some of them. A couple of million. I mean, like Marvin Alsner, he would slot into our team in theory. They reckon we'd be able to get him for about 1 million. That's another good way of looking at it. Get a good scout who's good at judging player potential ability and like fairly okay at current ability, and set a parameter of a young 15 to 21 who would be good for the first team now. Because if you can find someone who represents good value for money there, realistically, if you can train them and develop them, you're going to ship those players on for a lot of money, or they're going to be very, very good players who develop the best. I hadn't even looked at this guy yet, to be honest with you, but is a very technical player again. He's quick as well. Again, would probably be decent as like a maybe not so much a box to box, but more of like an attacking midfielder. Yeah, like attacking midfielder, shadow striker type player. Yeah, exactly. Concentration's not the best, but yeah, again, that's what I do. That's how I set it up. It's the best way I find it being the best way. Even this guy, this Leopold Querfeld, 21 years of age, looks very, very good. 2.4 million roughly. You do get the odd one who's worth like silly money, like Kobe Minu. Again, you're not going to get him from Man United really. Very, very air of Paul Pogba about him. But yeah, that's how I set up my search parameters. Similar again, a regular starter. He's looking for players who are most 25 and is good. And because we've got the player search filter out of the world, you can see he's got someone from Leipzig, he's got someone from Everton, someone in the second tier of France, second tier of Germany. It works. It's a good way of doing it. They reckon this guy's worth 36 million. Norman Ott from Leipzig. He's not worth 36 million. Madness, absolute madness. So yeah, that's the lay of the land, as it were, as it goes within the Red Bull project. Just for those who are interested, we'll show you sort of what's happening in the world of Red Bull. Matthias Jassler is now the manager of Borussia Mönchengladbach after getting sacked from Eintracht Frankfurt. I think he's just living on reputation alone, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, it is what it is. He's a very good manager, only 37. But yeah, over at Gladbach, doing quite well. If we have a little look at Salzburg, they are spending obscene amounts of money. If we go on their transfer history, £43 million. They spent 34 million on Havil Davasoglu from Crystal Palace, but they made in 45 million from selling players, including Philip Kern, who's gone to Frankfurt for nearly 11 million, and Carlos Palacios, who went for 28 million pounds. How much did they bring him in for? 14.75 million they brought him in for. Yeah, they're spending silly money over in the Bundesliga. How are SV Reed doing? They are sat seventh after one game. They have still got Gert Van Heeren in charge of the team. If we look at their tactical setup, they're still playing this 4-1-4-1. Blast Toth is now there, number one. That was the idea when we were there. Constantine Rayner's playing right back. Not sure about that. For Rigra and Guindo are the two starting centre backs. Felix Siebald, again, doing quite well. Cesar Araujo, we were looking at bringing him in, but they wanted silly money, which is why we went for Vira. Brought in Abajaj. Kamel Himshesh was one of the players we brought in, but we didn't get to use him. We were sacked beforehand. Lucas Bierwagen looks like he's developing even more, and he is starting to get a few Austria under 21 caps now as well. His vision has improved an awful lot, and his personality is very good too. And then they're using Marcel Ritzmeier, who wasn't someone I signed. Arna Jakubovic being their number one. Again, is what it is. Hoffman listed, Albiston, one of the youth players. He's a very decent player. So they're doing them. Let's have a little look then and see how Leifering are doing down. They're bottom of the league. Lovely. Brilliant. They should never have let me go. How are they setting up tactically? It looks like they've got rid of their manager and gone back to a 5-back system, but only have a couple of actual usable players. Still a few players there that I had. Marco Modric being one. Tobias Killinger is still there. Rafael Herfer is there. He's a decent little player. Shouldn't really be at that level. Same for Elias Havel. Shouldn't be knocking down at the lower leagues. Federico Crescenti still down there. Only 21. Nene De is still going there. Thought he would have been moved on by now. That's him again for Dijon Kamiri. Oh, Daniel Krauski, someone I brought in. Doesn't know that he's developed all that much. How strange. How strange that they're doing so poorly. And then just to play devil's advocate, just to see, I will start signing off on doing this with the Red Bull project. We will have a little look to see where Leipzig are doing, who's in charge, how they're getting on. Let's go to this up one after no games played. So that is that. They are still managed by Jesse Marsh. You see, let's have a little look at their previous league position. Can I have a little look at it from last season? So they finished in the Europa League places last season. They are looking, I would imagine, to start pushing into the Champions League spots for this season onwards. Looking at their tactics, I can see Tony Kroos playing there. They're playing a 5 at the back as well, which is quite interesting. Which seems to match what they're doing at Salzburg and Leifering, which is quite interesting too. Julian Draxler's there now. They've got Broby, who was brought in real life. Brian Broby from Ajax looks brilliant. They've got this guy up front, Jan Thielman, who decent little player. They've got a few. Ben Klefich we had on loan at Leifering. Not sure why he's in and around that first team. They've got Emerson Royale, signed from Spurs. Jedson Fernandez. They've got Maximilian Mittelstadt, decent left wing back again. It's a very different team. 18-year-old in the starting 11. They've got Bosco Satalo, Maxime Lacroix. Oh, wow. Antonio Rudiger. They've got a very, very good squad. Tony Kroos. Thomas Muller is there as well. Matus Burgish, which is very interesting to see because he did sign for Salzburg. So how much did they sign him for? I mean, if that's not the most Red Bull money laundering thing you've ever seen. He developed at Salzburg and then went to Leipzig for £9 million last season. That's mad. Thomas Mueller's there. Julian Brandt is there. Wow. Noni Madueke is on the loan list. I might put an offer in for Noni Madueke because he is fantastic. Wow. How much did they sign Madueke for? They signed him in 2022 for 27 million, and he's made what, 23 appearances for the team? 20 in total. I mean, I don't really need him. See if we can get him for that. Really interesting, actually, to have a little look at how they're doing. Caden Clark was someone I brought in while I was at Leifering, but ended up getting injured after only making 8 appearances. Again, quite interesting that he's in and around the Leipzig team and did make an appearance for them fairly recently. Noah Ohio, again, another player that we've had in and around the Red Bull project, is now representing Nigeria at international level, was Dutch. Ended up at Preston after he was unceremoniously ripped away from us by Salzburg. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I'm going to leave that there. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to use the time over my weekend to play a lot of Football Manager, and hopefully we've got a bit of a different update for you next time. Hopefully we've progressed a little bit more. Hopefully we're up around the upper regions of the league table. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time on the Red Bull Project.